everyone, and welcome to 10 features every client should use to get the most out of ActionKit. I'm Shannon Turner. Let's get started. If you've been around a while, you might remember I gave a similar presentation in 2019, and if you missed it, don't worry because I did record it. You can watch the whole thing at this link down here. I'll also be putting this link in the description of this video also. And both this and the one that I ran in 2020 are still relevant, so they're definitely worth checking out. In 2020, I ran another version with 10 more features. You can check it out at this link or the one in the description. Check out the ones from 2019, 2020. They're both still good. And we did make it to 2025, so here are my recommendations for this year's 10 features every client should use to get the most out of ActionKit. I think this is a good mix of different types of features that every client would benefit from, and hopefully after this presentation you'll have a good sense of how you can use these. Some of these features you might already be using, others might be new to you, so let's check them all out one by one. First up is ActionKit's new payment system. This is an example of a donation page made using ActionKit's new payment system. At this point, it looks like any other donation page in ActionKit. Here's the second step of the donation flow. Everything that we've done on these pages is meant to make things easier for users and optimize fundraising for you. We pre-fill everything that we can and make things as easy as possible for you and your users. So as I type in my address, we will pre-fill with some suggestions, and if you click on one of these suggestions, then we will fill in your city and state and zip code so that you don't have to. Notice how at the end of the flow on step 3, after I've put in my credit card and all of my payment details, I'm prompted to save my name and email and address and payment method with Stripe link. So next time I use this email address at any page that uses Stripe, whether that's on ActionKit or an online retailer, I'll be able to check out so much faster. The reverse is also true. If you've done some online shopping at a retailer that uses Stripe, we'll pre-fill all of your details, including your saved credit card, so you can just click donate. Right now, our new payment system is US only for now, but we are making improvements and adding new features regularly. In the works is mobile wallets and one-click donations. In a recent test that we ran, ActionKit donation forms performed about 34% better than ActBlue donation forms for users that are not using ActBlue Express. And of course, you can segment your mailings by whether they're an ActBlue Express user, send them the ActBlue link, and if they're not, you can send them the ActionKit donation page. Number 2 is Score Pool, which many folks are already using. And if you're not, here's what you're missing out on. There's lots of different ways that you can measure engagement, maybe using a mix of each of these stats for your users, like when did they last subscribe or last open or last click. All of that is really great. The way I think about Score Pool is with a visual metaphor, and I'd like to show that to you here. Here I have one dot or one pixel of an image. And think of this as being one piece of information about how engaged your users are. But as we get more clients enrolled in ScorePool, you get more information about your users because your users are likely also subscribed to someone else's list as well. So now we have 4 dots instead of 1, and I've separated these dots with these grid lines to help you visualize it better. And as we get more clients enrolled in ScorePool, each client is contributing data to this collective system, and the picture becomes clearer as we get more data shared. With enough clients participating, we have enough information to identify what this image is. And every client that joins brings more information. The picture becomes clearer and sharper and higher definition. The lines are sharper, the circle is less fuzzy, and I think this is a really good visual metaphor for how score pool works. The more points of information you have, the better your understanding of the overall picture, and the better you understand how active your list is. So here are some ActionKit clients, a small handful taken from the ActionKit homepage. And as we get more ActionKit clients participating in ScorePool, the more information we are going to have in order to paint a clearer picture of your user's behavior and activity. ScorePool uses anonymized user data from participating ActionKit clients. And that's so important, I want to repeat it. It's anonymized user data, and it's only from participating ActionKit clients. So we use that data to determine how likely a user is to open or click or interact with a mailing in the next 30 days. And every user is assigned a score between 0, which means very unlikely to engage, to 50, meaning very likely to engage. Once you've enrolled in ScorePool, you'll be able to target your mailings based on a user's ScorePool score and improve your overall targeting. This is a good way to include your active users or to exclude your inactives. ScorePool does not replace having good opted-in users, but it can help keep you from mailing inactives. You may also get better inbox placement on your large mailings by using the order by engagement level on the mailing targeting screen. And this is only available if you're enrolled in ScorePool. So all of these benefits are available to ScorePool participants only. Enrolling is free and the user data is anonymized. And there are some terms and conditions to agree to keep everybody's data protected and safe. You can enroll by the gear menu going to ScorePool Sign Up, and you may also be enrolled already. Next up is the bounce delay metrics. You might have noticed this little warning at the top of your mailing report screen, or maybe in the mini dash when you're browsing sent mailings. So when you see this, take a look. For this mailing, it's breaking down the chart of who this email was sent to by mailbox provider. And if you've taken our trainings on deliverability, you know that mailbox providers all handle incoming mail differently. And they have different ways of determining whether the mail that you send them is spam or not. So here it looks like VMG, also known as Verizon Media Group, which includes Yahoo and AOL. It looks like they didn't deliver any of the 75,000 emails that we sent to them. Why not? Let's scroll down a bit on this page to see if we can find out. And here's the problem. It says that our sending IP has been temporarily suspended by Verizon and Yahoo and AOL. Crap. Basically, all the emails that we sent to these users at these domains didn't get through. So let's see if we can figure out what happened and how to prevent that next time. If we scroll down a bit more, we're going to see some more info. Here it's saying that these messages were delayed first due to unexpected volume or user complaints. That's actually really, really important. Unexpected volume or user complaints. Typically, that's because your sending volume increased drastically, or you got a lot more spam complaints than usual, or most commonly, both of those things. In almost every single case that we see coming into support, this isn't because of a single mailing. What happens is that first you'll see some elevated delays, and if you ignore that and continue sending more volume or getting more spam complaints, those delays turn into bounces. And if you ignore those bounces, those eventually turn into spam blocks. So what's the fix here? Pay attention to the bounces and the delays that you get. If you're suddenly getting a lot of bounces or delays, did you change something with your mailings targeting? Did you add more volume than is typical for you? Did you change who's receiving your mailings? There's usually a pretty straightforward answer here. And if you want more information on how to ensure that you get good email deliverability and inbox placement, come to our session, check out our session on email deliverability, and check out our existing resources. Number 4 is user updaters. The quickest way to explain user updaters is you can write a report to get data from ActionKit, and maybe you've used that data in your mailings with a merge query. User updaters are very similar to that, except you'll store the data in a custom user field that you create, and the data is kept up to date on a regular schedule. There's a few steps here not shown on this slide, but this really is meant to be very quick and easy to set up. You can update a user's custom user fields or change a user's groups based on the results of that report that you create. You can run the user updater manually or on a recurring schedule to keep it up to date. And this is most useful when the report that you're running is slow, but you want the data to be available quickly. It's also really useful if you want to use this data on your pages where you can't use a merge query. So if you want to learn more and get some ideas for really useful user updaters, check out the training on custom user fields, tags, and user groups, which will be linked in the description of this video. Number 5 is a new feature, our two-factor authentication grace period. And if you don't have two-factor authentication enabled, all you need to log in is your username and password. And that's fine, but we really recommend setting up two-factor authentication because your users trust you with their data, and a good way to honor that trust is to ensure that your logins are very secure. Now, understandably, setting that up the first time can be a bit of a pain when you're creating new users because they're not going to have a token until they've set up their device. And although any super user can get a one-time token for a new staff member to be able to bypass this screen so they can get set up, that works fine. It is an extra step though, and that extra step is just annoying enough that some clients haven't yet required two-factor authentication for all staff. We want every client to require two-factor authentication for all staff accounts to protect their users' data. And so to make it easier to adopt 2FA, we've added a 3-day grace period for all clients for their newly created staff users. This means that you can make two-factor authentication mandatory, and your new users can log in with just their username and password for up to 3 days. So when I log in, I will see this banner up top giving me a reminder to set up two-factor authentication before the 3 days is up. Going through the flow of setting up two-factor authentication is pretty quick and easy. We recommend using a smartphone app like Authy and others like Google Authenticator. Pick your favorite, either one is fine, but using an app is generally better, it's more secure, and it's more reliable. I'm not going to go through the whole flow of how to set it up, although it's quick. You can check it out at this link here. This is a video that walks you through all of it. But everyone has a 3-day grace period for new users right now. And if you want to make two-factor authentication mandatory, just ask support. Number 6 is the admin and tech contacts, which you can access by the gear menu, go to Configure ActionKit, and then scroll down to Contact Settings. Adding your administrative, billing, and technical contacts is really easy. Just choose the appropriate staff member. And this helps us a lot because sometimes we need to know who the best point of contact is for any given issue. You can have up to 3 different contacts for both admin and billing and technical contacts. Please set this up because this would be a huge help to us, and it also helps us help you more quickly. Number 7 is soft bounce handling, which you can also access by the configuration screen. Here are our very sensible defaults, although in the default this box isn't checked, and that is what I'm going to try to convince you to do, is to check this box. So what this means is we will unsubscribe a user if they were sent 3 mailings and they had a mailbox full each time, all 3 times in that 14-day window. So if you get 3 bounces in a 14-day window because your mailbox was full, we will unsubscribe you. So let's say this is a representation of the mail that you have sent to my very old email address that I don't check anymore. And so all of the mail piles up. You sent me 1 email on Monday, you sent me a 2nd email on Thursday, and a 3rd on the following Wednesday. That's 3 mailbox full soft bounces in a 14-day window. And so I get unsubscribed on Wednesday after the 3rd soft bounce. That's a good thing. This is also 3 mailbox full soft bounces in a 14-day window, but if you're mailing this frequently, you might want to adjust your thresholds because this might not be helpful to you. If you're worried about unsubscribing users who are still here, fear not, because here's my alternate email that I check less often. It does get full sometimes, but I clear it out about once a week, and so we never get 3 mailbox full bounces in a 14-day period, even though you're sending me mailings about twice a week. So I'm still subscribed. Now in this case, my old email address that should get unsubscribed because I'm never checking this email anymore, it's always full, I'm not going to get unsubscribed because you are not mailing frequently enough to hit the threshold of 3 mailbox full soft bounces in a 14-day period. So if this is you, you might want to adjust your thresholds to gain the benefits of the soft bounce handling. So really, this system is helpful because they are inactive and you should let them go. If their mailbox is full and they're not clearing it out, then they're not checking their email anymore. This is really going to help you because you're showing mailbox providers that you're regularly removing inactive users. And all of the mailbox providers like Gmail and Yahoo and all the rest, they are looking at this to see, are you removing users who are inactive? Are you removing users who are no longer checking your email, no longer interested? All of this will increase your open and click rates, which will improve your inbox placement and deliverability. Number 8 brings us to user groups and tags, which are very similar to one another. Here's the screenshot of an Action Basics screen of a petition page. And if a user signs this petition, they'll get these 3 tags and get added to this user group. Tags and user groups are roughly equivalent. This screenshot has the tags and the user groups basically inverted. This is another way that you can assign tags and user groups based on who takes action on this page. And if you're wondering why we have both, it's because tags came first and user groups were added only a few years ago. Both tags and user groups are 2 very similar ways of categorizing your users. You can think of them as in movie genres, right? So like a movie could be both a comedy and a horror. And every tag or user group should tell 1 fact about that user. Tags are really great because if you change a page's tags, then we will retroactively apply those tags to all previous action takers of that page. So if this page used to have climate change as the tag, and we added the Green New Deal tag, then all users who had signed that petition previously, they will also now have the Green New Deal tag. The drawback of tags is that it's really hard to remove a tag from someone or to add a tag to a person as a one-off. And this last point is really why we added user groups. It was in response to your requests for an easier way to add or remove tags. And so changing which user groups a user is in is really easy now. You can go to that user's user overview screen, scroll all the way down to groups, and then change which ones appear. This was a super quick overview, but if you want more, make sure you go to the training on custom user fields, tags, and user groups. I'm going to include the link to that in the description here. Number 9 is our new alert emails. You might have noticed some emails like this in the last year or so. So basically, when one of our automated checks notices that there is a problem with your ActionKit, we will send you an email about it. And ActionKit staff also receives these emails, so we can see problems very early. Here's another example of one of these emails. If one of your sites that ActionKit is connected to goes down, or if you change its configuration, or if your domain name expires, we will find out about it within seconds. And also, you should definitely be auto-renewing all of your domain names. We have a lot of automated checks to ensure that everything is running smoothly in your ActionKit, so make sure you set up your admin and technical contacts from number 6 earlier, so that these emails go to the right people. And pay attention to these emails, and if you aren't sure of what to do or if you need help, please ask support. Let's close this out with number 10 for inline A/B mailing tests. These can help you test different messages so you can find one that best engages your supporters. Once you've chosen your variations, you'll see a little A/B on the left-hand side of each field that you can change. And if you click that, you'll get multiple fields. So in version A, we can still save the Bs, but we have to act now, send petition. In version B, we need to hurry. You can toggle which version that you'll see when you're previewing in the mailing preview by clicking variation. And in the mailing report screen, you'll be able to see which version performed the best. We added these inline A/B mailing tests because they're easier to use than the old A/B testing groups. And we really hope that you start using them more frequently to test your messages. So thank you everyone, and I hope you got a lot out of this presentation.